Before we announce the #1 fan favorite episode, it's time for the 1-hour Q&A. The way this is going to work is you send me your questions on Twitter. The handle is Linkara19, and I'll pick and choose the good ones, so make sure you ask me some good ones. After the hour is up, which will be, 10 o'clock, convenient. After the hour is up, we'll conclude the stream with the #1 pick. So, start sending in your questions. And the first question is about a Bill Finger controversy. I do not know what the Bill Finger controversy is right now. If you mean about the fact that Bill Finger should get the credit for Batman, I think Bob Kane should get at least some credit for it because it was still his initial idea, and a lot of the it inspired a lot of the initial ideas for the character and created the character. He should still get a credit, but Bill Finger deserves to have his name right alongside Bob Kane for it. Bob Kane should not have all the credit for it. He really doesn't deserve that. I'd prefer it be Twitter. Dina might 7, yes, I would prefer it to be Twitter. If you want to send it on the chat because you don't have Twitter, fine, just explicitly say that. It's easier to keep track of the questions if it's in one place, and so hence doing it on Twitter. And 36 new tweets, of course. All right, let's start going through it. Thoughts on One More Day? I made a whole episode on that. Thoughts in addition of Malcolm, Rachel, and Tamara to the Nostalgia Critic? I think they're a welcome change. While you could argue whether or not the critic has been better or worse since he came back, I enjoy them. It's really no different than what would have happened than what happens normally on the Nostalgia Critic. It's just that he actually has other actors to interact with, as opposed to just himself playing all the roles. Would I ever consider making another Pokemon-centered video? Most certainly. I did a live show with Pokemon, and I'd be happy to do another review of one, possibly another issue of Electric Tail Pikachu. But I'd like to, have a good reason to do so, because I still want to try to avoid manga for the most part on the show and focus on American comics, or at least English-speaking comics, and not ones that were dubbed. Games I'm currently playing now: Pokemon Black 2. And the Twitter is Linkara19. And yeah, that's the only game I'm really playing right now, that and Pokemon X. I'll be playing Pokemon Ranger soon once I finish Black 2. It's my replay of it. Yeah. Favorite superhero and favorite comic? You apparently weren't around earlier. My favorite character is Danny Chase. And favorite comic is JLA/Titans, The Technus Imperative. That was number 3 on the list. Scroll down. Yeah, there's already another 57 tweets. I'm going to scroll down and just find ones that I want. Do I think the Grayson series has potential? Of course. But I'm not really interested in reading Dick Grayson as Grayson. I'm interested in reading him as Nightwing. So I don't know if I'm going to be reading it. Another show a lot. Speaking of geography, having read some superhero stories coming from foreign countries such as France, Philippines. Savio Romy 77. I like to. The problem being that most of the time people aren't recommending bad comics to me from European countries or the like. They're sending me good stuff, which kind of defeats the point. What are the side characters' favorite Pokemon? I can't remember what Harvey's favorite Pokemon is. I wrote it down, so I think probably Pichu. Really love your fans, and we love you. The question is this: what person, living or dead, deserves an autobiographical comic? I do not know. I don't know enough about autobiographies or biographies of the like, so I'm afraid I can't really think of anyone in particular. Let's see. What is your drink of choice when reviewing horrible comics? During the reviews itself, I drink Gatorade, or at least grape G2 Gatorade, because it's lower in calories and I like grape-flavored stuff. I also like Diet Sunkist Lemonade, but that's a soda, so we don't want to be drinking that while I'm trying to yell at things. Favorite comic villain? I don't really have a favorite villain. I've tried to think about this, and I really don't. Sometimes I just enjoy well-written villains in general. I have no thoughts on Transmetropolitan because I've never really read it, but I don't know how much I would actually like it because I don't like the main character being really just kind of an asshole. I don't follow anything from 2000 AD, I'm sorry to say. I have read the new Miss Marvel. I think I'm behind by an issue or two. I think it's taking too long to get to do the origin, and I prefer them starting strong out of the gate and then having adversity, and she's starting out with a lot of adversity. but that's just my personal preference. It's still well written. It just hasn't done anything to wow me. So I don't know if I'll keep continuing to read it, but everyone should still read it because more gender and ethnic diversity in comics is a good thing. And you know what? The Miss Marvel name otherwise not being used, and we like teen superheroes too. So yeah, read it. Even if I don't think it's like the most amazing thing in the universe, it's not bad. Have I seen Amazing Spider? No, I still have not seen Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't know if I'm going to either. I just don't care. If I were to equate all members of my Rogues Gallery to members of Superman's Rogues Gallery, what would that be? That requires a lot of thoughts that I think I can do. Are there any reviews you wish to redo? Yes, I wish to redo the Bimbos in Time review because I was really sick when I recorded it. I still like that script. I could probably punch it up even more now, several years later. But the Bimbos in Time review, I recorded it when I was sick, and I felt it took away a lot of the energy and reaction I could have had. Let's see. Whatever happened to your review of The Shadow? I went into this in like one of the first screw-ups video. I had announced I was going to do a review of a Shadow comic because back in the day I did trailers for the year, like a 2009 trailer, a 2010 trailer, and I made a hint that I was going to review a comic of The Shadow. And the comic that I thought I was going to read, I looked through it, and it wasn't actually as bad as I thought it was going to be. I mean, it was especially goofy, but I recall that it wasn't so bad that it deserved it. Maybe after a few years that opinion has changed. I can probably look back at it. When will I review Civil War? I'm still on the fence about if I'm ever going to review Civil War. Objective 5, it's still there, still appearing in every single one of my theme songs. Some people have noticed. Favorite Star Trek crew members and captain. Favorite captain is Cisco. I like various crew members from different things. Forever Evil, I read issue 0. I don't need to read anymore. Where did the idea for Fat Grandma come from? Ask Phalos and Lupa, because I didn't invent Fat Grandma. Thoughts on recently recovered Doctor Who missing episodes? I still need to watch those. Enemy of the World and Web of Fear, I still need to watch those. I have not watched them yet. It's the opposite edition of card game wherein you play. Have you tried it again? I have not tried to play Magic ever since then. Every time I try to play Magic, it just glazes over, and I can't figure it out. Joel or Mike for MST3K, it depends on my mood. Today I learned King of Fighters had a 4-coma series. I don't know what. I don't know why I find that so awesome. What are the odds ever have any storylines involving the Mirror Universe? Don't know. I have ideas, and I think you should keep watching the show, though. Let's see. What was the inspiration behind Fat Grandma? Since you use clips. I am a fan of Red vs. Blue. Caboose is still the best. And yes, I am recording. Caboose is the best. Favorite Babylon 5 character? Jakar. All of them are good. I think the suckiest character for Babylon 5 is Lieutenant Kepper, and he was forced on the show, and then he died. Thoughts on Gundam Universal Century series? If I'm thinking of the Universal Century series correctly, that's the stuff that started with the original Mobile Suit Gundam. I love it. I love the original Universal Century stuff more than any other series. And, yeah. Do I have a PS3? Yes, I do, but I've never used it. I use it for Blu-ray playing. I've played 2 Blu-rays on it. That is the extent of my use of the PS3. Feels the best villain I ever did on the show. I still think that the Entity is the best villain I ever did. New Valiant comic stuff. I haven't read any of the new Valiant comic stuff, sorry to say. And of course, I'll be doing more Pokemon Omicron. I get busy, trying to do stuff like, a 300th episode. So yes, I'm going to finish Pokemon Omicron. It requires the least amount of effort for me to edit stuff. In show and behind the scenes, what happened to Snowflame? Snowflame's still around. He just doesn't appear because he goes off and is a coke-fueled supervillain. So only appears when I think he'll be funny. How did I come up with the title of the show, Atop the Fourth Wall? Basically, that's an interesting story. Well, it's not really interesting. It's just a story. So back when I first decided to do the text reviews, I originally thought the show should be called Comics Shouldn't Suck. The problem being, and people are still posting questions, this is why I can't do it on the chat. And someone has said like a 10.4. The problem being that there was already a comics blog out there called Comics Should Be Good. So I was like, well, I don't want to rip that off. So I've always been enamored with the concept of the fourth wall. That when you're looking at like a scene of a room in a comic, you can see, this is not a Hawaiian shirt. This is like a dragon. I don't know. There are 3 walls you can only see because you can't see the fourth wall. We are in the metaphorical fourth wall here. So I figured, well, if we're peering in at the fourth wall, we're in the fourth wall, but we're all atop it. We're all looking down on it and looking at things like that. And so I thought, well, okay, and Mystery Science Theater 3000 is a name that doesn't actually make any sense. So I just said, well, okay, atop the fourth wall. And there you go. I think originally, one idea was behind the fourth wall, and then that didn't actually come to be because I just did atop. I have never read Fred and Barney Meet the Thing. Attempt number 4, really on. The 5th one, I am a beginner writer, Linkara, an author trying to make my first book in a series. I don't have Twitter, and personally I can't get Twitter, but I have to ask here, I apologize for this. You've shown throughout these 300 episodes that you are a good writer yourself. Would you mind if I can ask for some advice? You can ask. I don't know if I'm going to be any help. Have I ever read Fable? I have never read Fable. And I don't have Injustice Gods Among Us, and I don't want to play it. 286 new tweets. Sweet, merciful crap. Oh, dear. Yeah, I have no plans to play Injustice. It looks stupid. Lightbringer ended a while ago, e-hero, Andrew. Or Andrew Dickman, is that you? If that's you, I can promote you to mod status. Lightbringer, I just stopped. I had no time to work on it anymore. So I decided, well, screw it. I can't work on it. I can't draw it. I can't draw. So I tried to get other artists to work on it, but I just lost time in trying to produce it. So I decided, screw it. I can't make anything of it anymore. So I released it into the public domain. I'm answering from the chat, too, though I really shouldn't. It's just that so many of you say you don't have Twitter, which, get Twitter. Where did the name Linkara come from? It came from my horrible self-published books. My horrible self-published fantasy books, where I decided the name Linkara because I was like, well, I like the name Link. I've never played Legend of Zelda, but I like the name Link, so the epic fantasy hero, we can call him Linkara. Linkara. The Linkara. We'll go with that. Who is my favorite? I'm going through my favorite Rangers. I'm not going to go through that. I never reviewed Mighty Morphin Rump Rangers. I still have the footage. I never actually did anything with it, though, because I never had time to write up a script for it, and that is so long ago now. Same thing goes for the crossover with Welshi on Dead Silence. I never did that, unfortunately, which I really should, considering he actually wrote up backstory for the film and whatnot. Let's see. What's next? 280 tweets. I still have to scroll through these and I have to refresh the page because it's slowing itself down now. Has anyone solved the puzzle from last May? Yes, one person did solve it. I asked them to keep it secret because they just kept bugging me and bugging me and bugging me because Savioromi, I answered your question. I answered your question earlier. Don't copy and paste it. It was about, you were asking about questions about stories from other countries, and I have not. Is Sandman worth reading? Oh, God, yes. Yes, it is. Okay, there was a question I was trying to answer for. Yes, someone solved the puzzle. I asked them not to release it because basically they were just bugging me and asking, well, does it mean this? Does it mean this? Does it mean this? And finally, I just gave them some more hints, and they solved it. So, sorry, you have to keep trying to solve it. And I'm not going to do this again. If you keep trying to email me, I'm not going to do that again because I don't want it to be because people just kept bugging me about it. You will find the answer to it. I will reveal the answer to it eventually when we get to that point in the storyline. There you go. If you're a fan of Digimon, what is your favorite Digimon? My favorite Digimon is Gomamon. Do you think they'll undo one more day? No. Not unless we have a similar thing like when Jeff Johns took over Green Lantern. What puzzle? The puzzle from back at the end of 2099 month. I don't think they'll undo one more day, because unless we have someone like Jeff Johns who comes in 10 years later to fix it, Yeah, it's not going to happen. What kind of characters do we need more of in comics? We need more fun characters. We need more colorful characters. We need more characters who aren't red and black and yellow and all the warm colors of the color rainbow. When's the next History of Power Rangers? I refer to you to my website's FAQ. I have not read the Before Watchmen series. I feel that Watchmen is a complete work in and of itself. I feel it's disrespectful to Alan Moore to do more of it without him, and it's completely unnecessary. We don't need to know more about it, so I have not read any of it. I'm sure it's good. It's from talented creators, but I see no reason to try to read more from there, so there you go. I like Young Justice and creator Greg Weisman? I still have not watched Young Justice, sorry to say. I still have not watched Ruby. I still have not watched Avatar and Korra. Although in this case, I do have the complete series of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm planning on watching it. Mostly thanks to SF Debris, because he did a retrospective on the series, and it convinced me to watch it. What story would you write if you were assigned to a certain hero choice? I would love to write the Titans. It's never going to happen. I would write the best damn Teen Titans story ever, and it's never going to happen. And even then, I don't know if I would actually accept an offer these days to work on it, because DC is such a mess right now. I know there would be so much editorial interference, so many people telling me what to do, and I see no reason to subject myself to that kind of pain and frustration, especially because as a result of that, it would just be a nightmare. I'm not getting Netflix. I don't like Netflix. Well, Netflix, it's not that I don't like Netflix. I like Netflix just fine. Netflix is useless to me because I want to watch things on DVDs. Because on DVDs, I can rip it and use clips from it and do reviews of it. Netflix is worthless to me otherwise, so I prefer having the physical media. My opinion, I think these series have gone back 2 or 3 years, although we had good, such as Midas here. I think that's not a question. Savio Romy, that is not a question. Are you going to do an episode of AtopTheFourthWall as a girl? I'm not planning on it. Do you think the Power Rangers work well in the classic DC Comics universe? Maybe. Maybe pre-Crisis, back when things were a lot sillier. Will Mobile Suit Gundam Bridge remain a one-shot, or would there possibly be another one in the future? Possibly. It was mostly just meant as an April Fool's gag, because I was watching all of Mobile Suit Gundam at the time while I was editing, because when 9/11 happened, Cartoon Network interrupted their Mobile Suit Gundam stuff, and only later on did they actually resume it, and they didn't even resume it. They just skipped to the ending episode. So yeah, I wanted to finish off the series, and so I might do more with it. I got most of my jokes in about the series in there. The very homoerotic-filled tension between Char and Garma, the fact that Amuro is really I had different ideas for how to play Amuro. One was to make him completely incompetent. The other was to make him super confident and just kind of like swept away by everything. I went with the kind of super confident and sort of in there. I kind of wanted Purple Eyes WTF to play Amuro, kind of like how he plays Lelouch on Code Ment. Favorite mobile suit? That kind of varies. I kind of like the gun cannon. Or Death Sight. Death Sight is always cool. Or Heavy Arms, because I like Gatling guns. Will I do any Alien or Alien Predator comics? I'd like to. Most likely I'll do that for, whatchamacallit. I do mostly that for Long Box of the Damned. How do I manage to split my attention between editing stuff and watching stuff? Relatively easy. Here's how the editing process works if you haven't seen the making of featurette on the first DVD. I import the footage in, then I go through and take out all the dead space and put each take into its own separate cut. And I don't need to be paying attention to the audio for that. I just need to see, oh, clearly I'm holding a comic in the shot. That's a live action shot. So I put in so I can put something else on in the background and watch and listen to that while I'm just, getting rid of that. I'm not a brony. And then when I'm actually editing it down to the takes I'm using, I gotta stop looking at the chat because then I always want to start answering more questions. so then when I go into the takes I'm using, I have to pay attention to it. I have to listen to it. So I pay attention during that part. And then when I have to add in comic panels, well, it's all been arranged now. I don't have to listen to it as closely. So then I can put on something in the background while I'm putting in comic panels. I'll pause the video when I need to go through that section of comic panels and make sure that it looks right. And then I can just do that. And so then I can just watch stuff at the same time. That's how I do it. I am not married. I am dating Vega from Vega Loves Comics. Where did the Linkara come from? Do you have plans to review Titans Villains for Hire? I'd like to. God, that series was so pointless. Who is my favorite actor to play Batman? Kevin Conroy. Did I ever review Mighty Morphin Rampage? Scroll back up. More questions. What is the new outfit supposed to be based on? Nothing in particular. You could probably see it as kind of like a Doctor Who-esque coat. But I wanted to do the new outfit because, one, the old outfit was getting ratty, and I hadn't found any replacement bits for any of it. I've been trying for a few years. Two, how did Will and I meet? I think I went into that into a trivia I didn't end up using. And I gotta stop looking at the questions. Gotta stop looking at the questions! Where was I? Oh, and I wanted something that was more easy for people to create cosplays based off of. And so a white shirt, brown tie, brown vest. The only thing I couldn't replace was the hat because that's the only thing I've never found something like it that would work. And the coat is basically there mostly for storylines and battle stuff. Have I read any of the Sonic comics by Silent Life? Nope. Not interested either. Not interested in Sonic comics at all. Sorry. Have I read American Vampire or The Wake by Scott Snyder? I read the first issue of American Vampire. It was just kind of eh. Or am I thinking of... No, I'm thinking of I, Vampire. No, I've never read either of those. I have to look those up for Longbox. What kind of Yu-Gi-Oh deck do I run? Not telling. I want it to be surprised whenever I fight people. Have I considered doing another video game episode or another comic based on thing? The thing is, I'm not as big a gamer as others. I play Pokemon. That's pretty much it these days. What else? I played Star Trek Elite Force. I'll probably still do a Let's Play of Elite Force 2 at some point. What else? So I played Magic Pockets, but there's no comic tie into that as far as I know. I have watched Batman Under the Red Hood movie. In fact, I did a vlog on that, which you can search out on the website because the search function works nicely now. It was a vlog I did with my brother. What's my favorite Phalos and the Movies episode? Pulse, the Pulse trilogy. I think those episodes are, in fact, Phalos' best work. So the kind of magnum opus of Phalos' stuff. Although the opening to the first Pulse episode, and that's the one about the internet ghosts, it makes no sense now because he's parodying all the annoying blip ads that were going on at the time. And they had been going like that for a while, like talking about like the one about a football game about putting your hands up, and one about you care about my fiber. So yeah, I love the Pulse trilogy. One of them opens up because it's the most he's at his most meta here, and he has some of his best jokes. Well, did you try to switch? Did you try to turn off the hard drive? I tried to. It wouldn't let me. And you can't take out a hard drive. It's impossible. He's holding a hard drive. What else? Oh, yeah, and the main male and female character, the main guy and girl of the movie suddenly together. We like each other now. Because! And then on the second Pulse review, he opens it up with him putting red tape on his door, because that's how you stop internet ghosts, red tape. And he says... Oh, hi, I didn't see that. Oh, hi, I didn't realize I had set up the camera and edited this into the video. Yeah, so I like Phalos. Phalos is awesome. Any thoughts on Pokemon Origins? I liked it. That's it. I liked Pokemon Origins. No. Pokemon Origins was the worst because it did not feature Missing Number and it did not feature the one... bug catcher who said that he liked shorts. 0 out of 10. Am I a South Park fan? Yes, though I haven't watched in forever. I haven't watched the latest season, which is not, although I can anytime I want because they have wisely put up all their episodes at South Park Studios, so I can go and watch them anytime I want. Say anything of consequence, what you say? I don't want to speak directly to them. There is nothing I would say to them. I mean, my videos speak for themselves about their works. Stop being racist. How about that? Are you I am not expendable, I am not stupid, and I'm not going. There you go, Dodger. What is the hardest character to play on Atop the Fourth Wall? Hardest character to play? Possibly Harvey. Because with Harvey, I need to maintain the accent, and it's hard to do that sometimes because, you know, there's a certain cadence to it, a certain way of talking. You know, get that kind of faux New Jersey, New York kind of a thing. The Frank Sinatra parody. Though I'm usually good about it, because all I have to do is think of Frank Sinatra's impression, Phil Hartman's impression from the Sinatra group on Saturday Night Live. Issue number 1. There you go. Faction Paradox. I don't know what that is. What's your thoughts on Peter Capaldi, the new Doctor? I don't know. I haven't seen any of him as the new Doctor yet. I have heard about Power Rangers Dino Charge. I heard when it first was announced. Guys, here's something. I know you want to tell me comic and Power Rangers and news and whatnot. The thing is, I frequent news sites most of the time. I mean, I haven't obviously done it in the last few days because I've been working, but I'm usually on par with it. You know, sometimes people on the same day, they'll announce it to me first, but usually I know already when something has happened. I sometimes know about it ahead of time, because like with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers reboot movie they're doing with Lionsgate, I knew about that ahead of time because, for one thing, they announced it when Saban first got back the thing they were going to do a movie, and second, they announced that I'm part of the Power Force, so they told all the members of the Power Force, oh, hey, this is an announcement that we're going to do. Can I tell you anything about your role in Fiona Frightening and the Wicked Wardrobe? I cannot yet because I have not read the rough draft for the script yet. And I'm sorry, Al. I'm sorry, but I have a life and I'm working on stuff. And Al, you don't need my feedback on that. You don't need the feedback of any of the voice actors on it because we're voice actors. We're not involved in the creative process. We're here. We get involved in the creative process as we actually perform the stuff. We don't need to be at every meeting for this stuff. Just FYI. And do I read webcomics? Yes, I read Schlock Mercenary, Multiplex, Short Packed, Dumbing of Age, Darths and Droids, just to name a few. Do I think DC will undo the New 52? They could. I don't know at this point. I'm hoping they will. But at this point, I just don't know. Writing a fan-made DC universe. That's great. I don't have a lot of free time to, look at your stuff that you're working on, your fan-made stuff, I'm sorry to say. If you send me some fan art or whatnot, that's great. I will put it up on the Tumblr. I'll save it in a file and whatnot. But otherwise, yeah, I'm not, I've never played Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. God damn it, I'm looking at the thing again. Yeah. So, I just don't have the time to give you guys serious critique about your fan-made stuff that you're coming up with. Have I checked out Spinneret? No, I have not. I would like to. I think I've met the creator of Spinneret once. We were next to each other for booths at Anime Midwest, which I'm coming to next week. Could I bring back Leanne and Sin if I could? Yes. In a heartbeat. Earth 1 Teen Titans. There's a thought. What was my opinion on Helena Bertinelli being replaced as the Huntress? They're doing a different thing with the character. I mean, I don't care about the Daughter of Batman thing, but hey, it's technically a different character, so let them do it what they want. What are my thoughts on Teen Titans Go? I have no thoughts because I haven't watched it, and I'm not really interested in it because it's not appealing to my age demographic. Mind you, the Teen Titans cartoon didn't really appeal to my age demographic either, but that show was supposed to be a bit more serious in terms of storylines, but it had its share of goofy episodes. And you know what? If it gets people interested in checking out the original Teen Titans, let them have the goofiness. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Don't worry about it. What are my thoughts on making a Wonder Woman movie? Make it already, even if it sucks. Actually, no, don't make it if it sucks. Make it good. Yeah. I don't really follow any Let's Players. Sorry, I don't. Not regularly, at least. MSV3K, Mike Nelson or Joel, depends on my mood. I don't read enough of... I don't read Ultimate Spider-Man, so I can't tell you any thoughts about Miles Morales. What did I do for a living before this? I worked at a Barnes & Noble. That's it. I'm actually one of the rare people out there who enjoys retail work because I like helping people find things. I like, walking around and doing stuff. I love Christmas time during retail because I'm busy, I'm doing stuff, and I love Christmas music, so I love listening to it. Okay, so you guys keep asking me this. Would I be interested in a sonic screwdriver and tricorder combo? No, because they're already the same thing now. There you go. Thoughts on Dawn of Justice? God, that title is stupid. It's gonna suck. It is gonna suck. Batman v Superman. Giant monsters all out attack. Does doing more interviews interest you? You can interview any concrete. I am not interested in doing more interviews with people. I mean, if you want to interview me, yes. I mean, I haven't had as much free time to do interviews as I have in the past. I'd like to do more. Interviewing other people? God, no. I am not a journalist in the slightest. I do not want to be an interviewer. I would be horrible at it. What do I think of Dan Slott as a Spider-Man writer? He's a perfectly fine Spider-Man writer, but I'm still not reading it. I am maintaining my boycott, and that will probably be for the rest of my life, considering they're probably never going to undo one more day. I know you're just liking the New 52. What's your opinion on the New 52 books? They kind of go hand in hand. Sorry. Most of the New 52 books are just not very interesting. What else? Have you read Red Sonja by Gail Simone? I read the first issue. I need to read more. And as it was good, and I want to read more. Poor Red Sonja. She can't find a guy to satisfy her in bed. And it's like this epic struggle subplot for the book that like no man can satisfy her or something. And so she's really, really sexually frustrated. Am I going to put Ranger keys in Atop the Fourth Wall? No, I am not. There's no way in hell I can repaint these things. I'm not that skilled. But fortunately, we have other ways around that. That's why I have the Go-Sager Morpher, the Go-Say Morpher somewhere around here. So cards will work pretty well with that. Who is 90s Kid? Dude, he's 90s Kid! And yes, he does have a real name. And you know what? The explanation of why his mind seems to be permanently frozen in the 90s? Atop the Fourth Wall, the movie. Wink. My favorite Pokemon is Bulbasaur. Although best Pokemon is Krabby. Have I ever seen Captain Scarlet? I have not. Yes, I have the Dragon Ranger key. In fact, I have two. Like two different fans gave me Dragon Ranger keys. Isn't that neat? Oh yeah, let me show you this real quick here. Interrupting the questions for a minute. This is My Little Pet Shop. Isn't it wonderful? This is it's even signed. The writer and artist loves my show. This is My Little Pet Shop #2. The writer and artist both love my show. Well, isn't that sweet? Oh, whoa! Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! Isn't that awesome? This isn't even the first comic I've appeared in. The artist, I can't remember his name. Evans, not Evan. Is it Evan? I think it's Evan something. The writer of the artist of the Sonic the Hedgehog comics. That's the only Sonic comic I'm probably going to end up reading, aside from the one I'm going to review later on this summer. That one. He drew me in a Sonic comic too. I don't have that with me, so I can't show that to you, but it's awesome. I want to see it. I want to read it. I want to get it. This one, though, they sent me it because they were very nice and they sent it to me. Sorry, not My Little Pony. Littlest Pet Shop. Littlest Pet Shop. I'm an idiot. Littlest Pet Shop. God, because you people keep asking me My Little Pony questions. I don't watch My Little Pony. I'm sorry, I don't. Anyway, Littlest Pet Shop. Number 2, check it out. Littlest Pet Shop. Let's see. How far through Jungle Fury am I? I'm not through Jungle Fury at all. I know in the past I've said that I would watch the next series before I did the previous one, but because of how long it was taking to release History of Power Rangers videos, now I just watch the series and then release it. Especially because there's less team-up episodes. Yeah, I'm going to review another Sonic comic this summer. You'll see. What else? Let's scroll down a bit more. Thoughts on Star Trek 8, a.k.a. the only good Next Generation film. I love First Contact, and we're going to be reviewing First Contact later on this summer, too, the comic version of it. Do I watch much anime, and what anime do I like if I do? I like Gundam. I haven't watched all Gundam series, but mostly the Universal Century Mobile Suit Gundam stuff. I like Digimon. I like Pokemon. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! Again, most of these I have not seen in full. Yu-Gi-Oh! The only two I've seen in full is the original and GX, and I love GX. GX is the best show in my opinion, but then again, I haven't seen 5Ds or the one with the subspace or whatever. Littlest Pony Shop. Batman Brave and the Bold. I never really regularly watched it, but it was good. It was especially good promotion for the Jaime Reyes Blue Beetle. Will I review the Masked Rider comic? Not planning on it, but I could in the future. I have reviewed 2 Star Wars comics already. I reviewed the Star Wars 3D #1 comic. That was the end of the storyline. And I reviewed a story from Star Wars Tales about why Jedi were not allowed to fall in love. And that was from the first Comic Book Quickies episode. Vega did not get me into Gurren Lagann, but she helped me finish it. I had started watching Gurren Lagann years and years ago. I only watched the first 3 episodes, and I wanted to watch more, but then I got busy and stuff happened, and so she and I watched the rest of it. And I love Gurren Lagann. Gurren Lagann is good stuff. What is my dream review? I've done my dream review a few times now, mostly storyline endings. Who is my favorite Starman? Suddenly his name escapes me. Damn. The one from James Robinson. I completely have spaced out on his name. Why am I reading the chat questions again? Because they keep scrolling down and I'm attracted to shiny things. I'm like a cat. I have never read Invincible. I need to, though. Have you read question. Have I read Harlan Edison's City on the Edge of Forever comic? No, but I haven't. I saw it the other day, and I bought a copy of it, so I'm interested in reading that. But even then, I don't think it'll top the original version, because he had some funky ideas about what to do. A lot of the inspiration for this stream we're doing right now comes from the Star Trek, from the Sci-Fi Channel special edition of Star Trek. Look them up sometime on YouTube. That's similar kind of bumpers and whatnot, hosted by Leonard Nimoy and William Shatner on different year stuff. And I love doing that, but the thing, and they had Harlan Ellison on it, and Harlan Ellison is an asshole. He was just a complete asshole saying, God, you people, it's a freaking TV show, get over it. He is a complete douchebag, and I never want to meet Harlan Ellison because he's a fantastic writer, superb, awesome, great writer, but I'm scared of Harlan Ellison. I just fear he would destroy me and deconstruct me because he's that kind of a personality who's just really, really good at destroying the things he doesn't like. And I'd be afraid to piss him off. I have not seen the Gurren Lagann movies. What are my favorite colors? White, brown, that kind of thing. What ways do you think the DC anime universe is superior to the DC Comics universe? It's much more accessible to younger audiences. It features superheroes being superheroes. The characters are condensed into their most distilled forms. They're how great they are at it. Yeah. Basically, yeah, it's much more colorful. Do I plan to do a crossover with SF Debris? No plans for it. I would love to do it sometime. I would really love to do a crossover with him on the Andromeda Strain miniseries, because that was god-awful. I hate that Andromeda Strain miniseries. What's my favorite Long Box of the Damned episode? Probably either the Teen Titans annual issue I reviewed on that, or the Killdozer comic. because I love seeing Muerte completely flummoxed by Killdozer. Who made the Pyramid Head helmet? That would be Amethyst, the voice of Nimue and my prop lady. Favorite non-Marvel DC superhero comic? I don't really read any non-Marvel DC superhero comics. Not out of lack of interest, just lack of time and whatnot. I should read more, though. On Longbox the Damned, is it Moarte or Muerte? Moarte. M-O-A-R-T-E. It's supposed to be the Romanian word for death, I think. What's my favorite celebrity divorce? I'll let you know when I care. Even if I had props for the show at one point or another, have you considered doing crossover with TJ Omega? I wouldn't be against doing it in the future. It's really just a matter of free time most of the time. But I would not be against doing it with TJ Omega, because TJ Omega is a talented guy. I've watched a few of his stuff. I wish him the best of luck on getting on Tigwatig whenever they announce the things. There's a lot of people I think we could definitely use on Tigwatig, hopefully. Am I planning to watch Sailor Moon Crystal? Yes, I am. What is my Pokemon team, and how can I battle you? Find me at a convention. Favorite Star Trek episode? Best of Both Worlds. Slifer Red, Raw Yellow, Obelisk Blue. Obelisk Blue, as indicated by the blue Obelisk uniform coat I have. Chicken or fish? Chicken. I am more of a chicken person. Vigo, when she was in town, had me eat a lot more fish, and crab is okay, but I'm still more of a chicken guy. All right. Another 191 tweets. Ever watch Kamen Rider? No. Since I like Hack Slash but Tim Silly, have I read Revival? No, I have not. I also do not. And do I watch Game Grumps? I have. I think I've watched like one or two Games Grumps things, but otherwise, not really interested in it. I've watched some more JonTron stuff though. I need to watch more. Has anyone ever dressed in Entity cosplay? I don't believe so. It would be nice to see though. Probably they'd have to like put some kind of transparency over their eyes or something. That would be cool. Chile, UK, do my questions even appear? Most likely, but they probably scrolled past. This is why I don't want to do it in the chat. Will I review the Terror in the Third Dimension starring Batgirl and Supergirl and Dracula? I've never heard of that before. I would love to get that. That sounds like it'd be fun for Longbox. What am I scared of? Sock puppets? No. Missing number scares me. I'm scared of roller coasters. I've gotten a lot more of a pansy in my old age, quote unquote. I'm terrified of falling from great heights. I think I feel more safe on a plane because I'm not always looking out the window, but I'm always like kind of interested in looking at it because like, oh, it's so small. But I'm in like, a plane and it's safe and whatnot. It's still the safest way to travel. I said there would be cake. I said there would be cake, and it's not available in some areas. And in fact, I have a cake in the freezer. And in between episodes, when my mom and dad were over here, we actually ate some cake. So yes, cake was available. And one of the Super Dictionary definitions was cake. Where do the side characters live? Some live with Linkara, some do not. Creepy crawly bugs. Yes. I'm afraid of creepy crawly insects. I am afraid of tiny insects, especially in video games, because they just jump out at you. It's creepy. It's irritating. Yeah, I am such a wimp. Let's see. Favorite Pokemon generation? Favorite Pokemon generation is Generation 2. Generation 2 has the most Pokemon I love. Ho-Oh, Cyndaquil, Phanpy and Donphan, just a lot. The Maryblind, just a lot of great Pokemon I really enjoy from Generation 2, and it was at the height of my Pokemon love as a kid. But Generation 5 has the best story, in my opinion. I think Black and White is the best story of all the games. Diverms. What do I think of the Batgirl annual issue? The one with Poison Ivy? It was all right. I didn't hate it. What I'm actually looking forward to doing, that Batgirl issue that was kind of a Halloween issue, or at least a horror one, about the people who accidentally summon a thing in the house, that's going to go on Longbox, because that was a lot of fun. I'm not as familiar with a lot of Marvel storylines, I'm really embarrassed to say, because I've been mostly a DC guy. I want to read more, and I'm trying to expand my palette and find more Marvel books to read. I was reading Captain America for a brief time. It didn't really work out. Yeah. I'll tell you, there are still Twitter answers, but I'm alternating. I'm reading Captain Marvel. I'm reading Miss Marvel. I'm reading Deadpool, obviously. Let's see. How many comics do I actually own? I do not know. What are some of my favorite comic runs besides Devin Grayson's Titans? I didn't hate Jeff Johns' Titans run. I'd like to, I didn't like it as much as Devin Grayson, but it wasn't bad. It was just kind of, I preferred the other one more. And it's not really bad, and there's some retcons in it. What other runs that I really enjoy? Any Gail Simone's runs. Frickin' Secret 6. One of the best damn comics ever. Her Birds of Prey run. I liked Jeff Johns worked great on JSA. He was superb on JSA. Grant Morrison's JLA run, that was good too. Do I plan on doing a Top of the Fourth Wall for the rest of my life and actually ending up like Future Kara? As long as I want to, I'm going to keep doing the show until I get sick of it. Have I checked out the Mega Man comics? No, I have not. I don't think I've ever played any Mega Man games. Haven't watched the Gotham trailer. Not really interested in the live-action shows, especially because I don't have regular television. I have a Mac Mini hooked up to my TV, and I watch online stuff. I watch Hulu and whatnot, and DVDs. I don't have a PlayStation Network name because I have never signed into the PlayStation Network, nor will I ever sign up for the PlayStation Network after that security breach happened. And like I said, I've only used the PS3 for Blu-rays. So there you go. What else? I was in the middle of a question, and I got confused because I looked at the thing again. What do I think of Twister and John's JSA? I can't remember. Was that was that like the daughter of Red Tornado? Yes, I wanted more of that. And then he got left it and did something else, and I can't remember what. I would have liked more, but yeah. Did the comic book version of I Have No Mouse But Swiss Cream ever show up on Long West of the Dam? I did not know there was a comic. I would be happy to get it, and yes, it would definitely show up. Will I do a review of the Caligula comic? Maybe. What would have saved Power Rangers Turbo? I get into that in the actual Power Rangers Turbo review, that they should have been growing up, and the story should have been more serious, not goofier. And I would have given, if you were going to get rid of all the original Rangers, they should have had a bigger send-off for them. Most overrated comic to me. I'll have to think about that. Oh, probably The Long Halloween. Batman The Long Halloween, it's just so boring. It takes forever for anything to happen and for things to advance, and I just, get to the point. It's so boring and dull and takes forever. I did not like Long Halloween. How did I meet SS Lee and get her to play Margaret? I'm not telling. Did you ever play the comic book video game Freedom Force? Yes, I did. I really liked Freedom Force. I played it, enjoyed it. I think I finished it in a day. Will we ever see a return of Lester B. Bum? No. Lester B. Bum was meant to only be an April Fool's gag. That was it. Have I read any of the TMNT comics? No, I have not. Kenton Hoover keeps sending me questions, and they're in all caps. I don't know if that's just to get my attention or if because he's actually yelling. How much interest do I have in grounded/slice-of-life comics such as those by Dan Klaus, Craig Thompson, etc.? I have zero interest in slice of life and real-world grounded kind of stories. It's not that they're bad. It's just I'm more interested in looking at fantasy, science fiction, superheroes, basically the fantastical stuff. That's the thing that holds my interest. And the only reason Dumbing of Age, I'm still reading that is because I like David Willis's work. Would you join the Society of Lights? No, I would not, because they have that whole fate and destiny thing, and I take the Seto Kaiba approach, and I make my own destiny. How do you feel about card games on motorcycles? Card games on motorcycles. Thoughts on Beware the Batman? Never watched any of it. Will some sort of review incorporated into your movie, or will it only be storyline? It will only be storyline. because you can watch reviews of stuff all the time. Plus, it would have to be a public domain thing because otherwise I wouldn't have the licensing rights to it. And with the way my reviews work, it would be difficult to incorporate it in. This is not like with the AVGN movie, which I'm hoping to see when it comes out. The E.T. game that he's going to review in that is so basic, the review can be 5 minutes long. We're trying to review a whole comic as part of the movie. For me, it would take too long and be boring and not work for a movie. The plot would just come to a halt. What was the inspiration for Moarte? There were a few things that were the inspiration for Moarte. One of it was the lost film London After Midnight with, what's his name? Played Phantom of the Opera, the horror guy. His son was the Wolfman. I can't remember his name for the life of me suddenly. But he played, and Hunchback of Notre Dame, he's also in that. He played a vampire in London After Midnight, and there's this image that circulates around of him with the sunken-in eye. Lon Chaney, that's it. Lon Chaney Sr. There's this image of him in London After Midnight with sunken-in eyes and top hat and kind of pointy teeth and all-white face. So that was the visual inspiration for Moarte. In terms of his accent and whatnot, I think the most direct inspiration is just horror hosts in general and the idea of a man who can... well, it was not Svengoolie himself, just horror hosts in general. And the accent is just vaguely European. That's how I like to say it. My favorite character from Damning of Age, Amber. Not Vincent Price, although Vincent Price is awesome. I did a Tumblr post a while ago with various commercials done by Vincent Price, and it's awesome. When am I aiming to have the Atop the Fourth Wall movie come out? Hopefully later next year. During the summer. Now the 300th episode is finished. I'm going to put together I'm going to start scouting around for locations to film, to get the sets built and people to build the sets. I'm going to try to talk to the We Shot First people. Maybe they have some experience in set construction. Fingers crossed. Because other than I don't have to hire outside people I've never met before to try to build them. I also need to find some studio space to actually store the sets for a while. And I'm hoping to have the Indiegogo fundraiser for it in November, shortly after Halloween. Let's see. What? I'll be watching some Crystal. Favorite fish? Babelfish. Any thoughts on David Goyer's horrendous comments on She-Hulk? Why do you ask me questions like that? What do you expect me to say? Does anyone expect me to say, oh, he's totally right. That's totally what She-Hulk was invented for. Do you really expect me to say that? No, of course not. I made a joke about it in last week's episode in Comic Book Quickies number 3. Oh, dear. Please do Drunk Tony Stark. I'll do Drunk Tony Stark. Will you do Drunk Tony Stark? Flashpoint. Do I want to review it? The problem is it's not bad. It's just like any other story like it. It's alternate timeline. And it created the New 52. That makes me angry, but it's not really bad. It's a Flash storyline that really shouldn't have been anything more than a Flash storyline. All right. Do I hate new Doctor Who? No, I love new Doctor Who. I love all the new actors for it. I'm sure I'll like Peter Capaldi. I've liked most episodes. Although I am actually in the minority on this one. I did not like the one with the clones, the Almost People, and the Real Flesh. I can't remember what that was called. That two-parter. I thought it was dull. I thought it was treading territory we've already tread in terms of about clones in science fiction. I just felt like, this is a waste of time. We've already seen stuff like this. But it's kind of necessary viewing because it sets up the stuff with Amy and the baby in the next episode. Am I going to review Cerebus? Maybe. People keep saying I should, but it's critically acclaimed, and I don't want to get big people pissed off. My opinion, my least favorite review. Probably the very first Sci-Spy review. I just don't think it was as funny as some of my other stuff could be. What editing software do I use? I use Adobe Premiere Pro 5.5. Anyone I want to do a crossover with. I still would love to do a crossover with SF Debris, like I said earlier. What do I think of the new Harley Quinn series by the Power Girl team ignoring her 52 costume? Are they ignoring her new 52 costume? I don't know. I was completely turned off on reading Harley Quinn because of that all the controversy surrounding the issue 0 and the and that horrible contest. Which, by the way, turns out the guy who won the contest was someone who had already done professional work before. So, what was the point? What do I prefer, individual comics or trade paperbacks? I prefer trade paperbacks because I get the complete story, but I still buy floppies because I still want to read the books from month to month. I'm playing with a bead bracelet during this whole time because my hands need to be doing something. 5 more minutes, and then we'll move on to the number 1. What do I think of the Gotham TV series? I already answered that. Will I ever do review editorials on Blue Beetle, the best superhero ever, again? Maybe. Because I probably should do reviews of the new 52 Blue Beetle and how it fails in everything that made the original Blue Beetle comics so good, the original Jaime Reyes ones. It zigged where every one of where that one had zagged. Do I think of Linkara as a character, an artistic alias, or a blend of both? Mostly a character. It's 99% character because, of course, I don't have a magic gun. I don't have all the stuff in the storylines. The opinions being spoken by me and by Linkara, the character, are definitely my opinions, but I'm not quite as shouty about it. I just think it sucks. Do I like pooping in my pants? No. What do I think of Pokemon with multiple forms like Vivian? I think that's really cool. I think it's a cool little way of doing things. I like shinies. I don't go shiny hunting, but I like the idea of different looks for them to give it, your own unique, this is my Pokemon and not anyone else's. Give the own team a unique feel. Let's see. Which version of the Checker's Guide to the Galaxy have you read, watched, whatever? I've read the books, everything through Mostly Harmless. I started reading And Another Thing, but I still need to finish that. I only read the first chapter. I've seen the original BBC miniseries. I have not heard the radio drama, and I've seen the movie from a few years back. And I've liked all the versions that I've seen. There are different things about them that I like that all work. Did you know Andrew Dickman works on Teen Titans Go? Yes. I don't know if he's still working on it. He was working on it. I don't know if he still is. What is my favorite Spoonie Experiment and Nostalgia Critic episode? Oh, favorite NC episode. Hard to say, because I do like a whole bunch of Doug's work. Probably some of the commercial specials. The original, obviously, was Batman and Robin, because that's what got me into watching the Nostalgia Critic. Favorite Spoonie Experiment? It varies, because Spoonie does a lot of different things. I think in terms of stuff I always rewatch, probably the Phantasmagoria Let's Play. Given things by a professional, I think people are just repeating the same things to me. Any plans for a full crossover with Diamanda Hagen? We had started making plans to do a review of Lost Girls. It never really went anywhere. But I wouldn't be against doing that or something else in the future. I think we also talked about some superhero movie called Jaja something. Will Morte ever meet Linkara? Probably not. I like the idea of them just having their own kind of sparring contest. Can I do a walk-in impression? This guy. The thing now let me tell you the funniest idea for a movie ever. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but every character replaced with Christopher Walken. Every one of them. You betrayed, Shiva. Did I know Sheldon from Big Bang Theory hates Babylon 5? What will Linkara say? That's fine. I don't like your show either. What's a good Wonder Woman story to read for someone who wants to check out series? Any of Gail Simone's Wonder Woman run, any of Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman run. Both of those are really damn good. Let me get some more in there from the Twitter feed. Kali! Ma? Interesting death battles, Godzilla versus Gamera. Ooh, that should be interesting. When can we expect 90s Kid origin stuff? I don't know. I'm still trying to think of a way to have a good time to introduce 90s Kids origin. What are my thoughts on Bonds Beyond Time? I loved Bonds Beyond Time. I actually really enjoyed it. It gave me exactly what I wanted, and that was the 3 Yu-Gi-Oh protagonists in a duel together against a guy. And while Paradox and his ideas and plans are stupid, I really enjoyed seeing them duel together. And I loved having the dub, and they actually got the dub music for GX again. That was awesome. I loved that. Okay, 2 more minutes, so we can only get like 1 or 2 more questions. Let me find a good one here. Thank you for Drunk Tony Star. Was the Care Bear song or meant to be referenced to what episode? No, the Care Bear song was a reference to the fact that 90s Kid really loves Care Bear. That is the thing that he's actually a big fan of Care Bears. I am a reviewer still starting up with my own storyline involved and currently going on. Do you have any advice for me? Yes, keep the storyline separated at the end so that people who don't like the storyline don't have to watch it. Don't take yourself too seriously, because remember, you are an internet reviewer trying to fight against whatever. Don't try to make it some great work. Just make it entertaining and well-written, and don't try to, take it like the most serious thing in the universe unless it really needs to be. Like, the end of the Entity arc needed to be serious because there's no way to do I'm the Last Man on Earth without it. And yeah, I liked Bonds Beyond Time Abridged as well. A real top 4th Wall movie is underway? Yes, and the script for that is finished, and right now all the actors are looking over it because I wanted to get their input on it because it's working with their characters. Would you review DC Camelot 3000 Max Use? I really should, but I really enjoyed Camelot 3000. All right, I'm going to find one more question, and then we will announce the number 1. We find a really good one. Should someone get into DC with their tendency to retcon and or reboot? Yes. Because in the end, everything will get retconned and changed. It's just a thing that's going to happen. It's an accepted part of superhero comics. I don't like it, but it's going to happen. And you know what? Those good stories are still there on my bookshelf. I can still go back and read them. I mean, some of it is colored by future stories, but doing March of the Titans was so fun for me. It was so fun to look at 250 comics of superheroes that I loved, and rereading all the stuff that I enjoyed back in the day. And it's why I'm looking forward to doing it again next year with another series. So, Q&A is done. So let's move on to the number 1 fan favorite. We come now to the final episode on our list of favorite episodes, and it was a doozy. It was a landslide victory for this one. Even early on when I was tallying it, it shot ahead of all the other episodes, and frankly, I'm not surprised that it did. It's quite possibly the thing that annoys me the most in mainstream comics, the largest betrayal of a character that I can think of in my lifetime, and I honestly feel bad about bringing it up sometimes, since it's likely that it's never going to be reversed, or if it does, it'll be done in such a horrible manner that the cure is worse than the disease. But the people have voted, and they have voted well. The number 1 fan favorite episode of Atop the Fourth Wall from 2 years ago, on the last anniversary of why we're all here right now, Spider-Man One More Day. The stream will be ending after this one. I will, of course, say my goodbyes after the episode is finished, but this is it. This is it, guys. Hope you all enjoy this one as much as I did making it. 9.5 hours, my friends. That is how long this stream has been going for. And I think this was a pretty damn good celebration, all considered. I think this stream was pretty damn successful. I think you guys seem to have a good time during these last 9.5 hours. So, Tomorrow will be the 300th episode. A little trivia about the One More Day review, since you're all here anyway. I actually read that ending bit where I'm talking about how I don't want the story undone. I just want it. I want more story built on. I don't want it just forgotten about. That's actually different from what I originally wrote. I don't know I can't remember what I originally wrote, but it wasn't as good. Basically, the entire point was I wanted to. I was like starting to edit it, and I was like, this is not good. This is just preachy and kind of stupid and lame. So I actually I brought up a Word document, wrote up a quick new ending bit, and put that in there. And people seem to really enjoy it. So yeah, thank you all for attending this 300th episode celebration live stream. I'm so glad you had a good time. Everything except the very tiny portion was recorded, and so I'll be putting that up on Blip on the next few days. Will I do this again 600th episode? I might do it the 400th episode. This was successful. I'd like to do this again sometime. Probably it'll be like my favorite episodes or something like that, but so you don't rewatch the same episodes over and over again. But I'd say this is a success, and I think you guys liked it, and that's the important part. And thank you all for attending, and I'm so glad that you guys enjoy Atop the Fourth Wall so much. I love doing this. I'm not burnt out at all. I have a lot of episodes still in me, and hopefully you're going to enjoy it. And I'm going to go have dinner and some cake because it's 11 o'clock at night and I haven't had cake yet. Wolf the Edge, I said that it was not available in some areas. Just because there's no cake in your area doesn't mean that it's not available other places. Namely, right here. Anyway, thank you all for coming. I did not show the 300th episode, but you can see it tomorrow. And I'm going to keep it a surprise because most people seem to want it to be kept a surprise. So, see you later. I'm still not as popular as the Bee Gees.